Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Dee and this is Dee's Reading Lounge where I'm sharing my love for reading at my own pace. And so in today's video, I am going to be doing a February TBR. I normally don't do TBRs because I'm a mood reader and, I don't really like to stick specifically with certain books, but I was very strategic this month because it is not only Black History Month, it's also the month of love. And so I originally, when I was thinking about what I was going to read for February, because I didn't really read a whole lot of things in January just because I was reading a longer book, and that book kind of put me in a sort of a book slump because I just could not stop thinking about it. And so I was only able to manage to read two books in the month of January. So when I was thinking about what I was going to read for February, originally my plan was to read like romance novels. And romance right now for me is really not my vibe. I'm not really in the romantic mood right now. And so I will be reading one romance, but that is probably about it. So I decided to pick different genres from a few books that have all been on my TBR that I need to read and a couple new ones that I have acquired. So let me go ahead and get right into it. So I do have 6 books. Not sure if I'm going to read all of these books, but I am going to try my hardest to get to all of them. But again, if I'm not in the mood for romance, let's say romance, I may not want to pick up this book. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first book that I'm going to try to get to is Beverly Jenkins' Forbidden. Beverly Jenkins is the GOAT of romance, and I know why. Even though I've only read one book, I did read one book, Josephine, last month, and I literally, as everybody says, ate that book up. It was so good. And so she is a really good writer. Her stories were hard to get type romance, and so hopefully this will be similar because the title is Forbidden. And so I'm going to read just a little bit of the blurb on the back. So it says, Ron Fontaine is building the successful life he's always dreamed of, one that depends upon his passing for white, but for the first time in years, he wishes he could step out from behind the facade. The reason, Edie Carmichael, the young woman he rescued in the desert, outspoken, defiant, beautiful, Edie tempts Ron in a way that could cost him everything, and the price seems worth paying. So that sounds really good. It sounds like it may be one of those chasing type books, not easy, caught and things like that, because men need to work for us, okay? They need to work for us, and I really like reading those type of romance novels. So that's Beverly Jenkins' Forbidden. All right, so we've got the romance category out of the way, and next is going to be a thriller. I think this is going to be somewhat of a light thriller. So this one is called Lucky. In the front, on the front cover, it says, "The more she wins, the more she loses" by Rachel Edwards. And the blurb on the back says it's absorbing, unsettling, unflinching. Let's read more. It says, Etta believes she was born lucky. She believes that if she can save enough money, she and Ola can finally marry and buy a home. Willing to chance it all, she quietly begins to make money on an online gambling site until she begins losing. Girl, I can't read. Soon she has secretly lost their entire savings. Luckily, Etta has made a friend on the site, a friend who has recently won big. Perhaps she can persuade him to give her a loan just until she wins the money back. What could possibly go wrong? So also it says Lucky is an unputdownable novel about race, privilege, and betrayal, and an addiction so compelling it threatens to destroy everything in its path. So a different kind of thriller by another Black author that I've never heard of, but hopefully this one will be great. All right, so the next one is one that I said I was going to read next, and this one is Yellow Wife by Sadiqa Johnson. So she is one of the authors that I said I wanted to get to in 2025. I've got several of her books. I've got like probably 3 or 4 of her books, but I want to read this one because I know I'm just going to absolutely love this one. I'm not going to go into the synopsis about this one because I kind of want to go into it blind. I purposely, when people talk about this book, skip over it just because this is like my favorite genre, and because everybody raves about it, I kind of want to be surprised. So I'm not going to read the back, but if you've read this, of course, you know what it's about. And also, people have been raving about this book, so I'm sure you probably know what it's all about. So that is Sadiqa Johnson, another great Black writer in historical fiction. So that was historical, the category historical fiction. All right, so the next one is science fiction, and this is from an author that I started reading in 2024, Octavia Butler. And I just recently saw one of her interviews, and Miss Butler is so intelligent. She really forecasted. She was talking about climate changes and different government things going on, like in the 90s for the during that interview I saw. Brilliant woman. You know, it's a shame how she passed away. She fell in her home or something like that. So that was really sad. But anyway, so this is Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler, and it was a New York Times bestseller at one point. And so this one has been on my list to read. So it says, when global climate change and economic crisis lead to social chaos in the early 2020s, California becomes full of dangers, from pervasive water shortages to masses of vagabonds who will do anything to live to see another day. So you guys know the wildfires just happened in California, and then there's this climate change, especially in different states, especially Texas. I think people have been talking about how in the last couple of years they've seen weather that they have never experienced before. There was that flood a couple years ago, and then there was, you know, cold weather, some climate, like unusual climate changes and things like that. But I think global warming is definitely a thing, and I cannot wait to read more about what she has to kind of like, she's apparently forecasted the days that we're living in today. I told my friend the other day when we were talking on the phone that I do feel like we are living in the last days, y'all. All the crazy things that has just been happening, the climate that we're in, people, oh my God, it's just ridiculous what's going on in the world today. But anyway, so that is science fiction by a wonderful Black author, Miss Octavia Butler. And so the next one is also a author that I said I wanted to get into, Miss Jasmine Ward. This is Salvage the Bones. And so this one is not a long book, so that is great, 261 pages. So let's read the back. It says, they heard it on the radio. A hurricane is coming, threatening the town of Boys Savage, Mississippi. Esh's heart-drinking father can feel it in his bones. Esh and her brothers are trying to help prepare, but there are other worries too. Skeeta is watching his prized pit bull, helpless as her new litter dies one by one. Randall, when not preoccupied with basketball, is busy looking after the youngest, Junior, and Esh, 15 and motherless among men, has just realized that she's pregnant. The children of this family have always been short on nurture, but they are fiercely loyal to one another. It is together that they will face the building storm and the days that will draw after. I think this one is about Hurricane Katrina, I think, or, you know, centered around that in fiction form or narrative, but we'll see. And so that is Salvage the Bones. It sounds pretty good. This one would be more in the literary or contemporary fiction genre. So lastly, we're going to read some nonfiction, specifically a memoir. You guys know, if you watch my channel, that I just love, love, love hearing about other people's stories. They don't necessarily have to be celebrities, but lately I've just been kind of like indulging in celebrity memoirs, especially Black female memoirs. So we are going to be reading Who's That Girl by Eve, a memoir. And so I, of course, grew up in the 90s. I grew up listening to Eve, always loved her rapping style, kind of liked her as a person too. She did a little bit of acting. She was on a show, I don't remember the name of it, but she has a totally different life now. She's married to a billionaire Caucasian male. She's got an extended family. She just had a, well, I don't know if she just had the baby, but she has a child, a beautiful child now. And so she's just living the life. I don't think she even lives in the United States anymore. So this one is a short one. It's pretty short, so I'm kind of curious as to how raw it's going to be, because you know, she was, like I said, had a different lifestyle, was in a rap game back in the day. And so I'm sure she's seen a lot of things. But being that it's so short, y'all, I don't know. We'll see though. But I'm very eager to read this one. I bought this one when it first released. And so that's what the back looks like. So on the back it says, our success stories are always undersold. Even when we're lapping men, we're still called slept on or underrated as a means of keeping us below the industry sea level. For me, it was simultaneously being called the pit bull in a skirt and the underdog. My moves were drowning out those words, but they were still used to keep me down. I'm speaking both for myself and other women here, especially Black women, telling me that I was going to fail wasn't protecting my fragile female heart from disappointment. It was perpetuating a cycle that I wanted to break. Did I do that? Many times. Sometimes I won, sometimes I lost, but eventually I realized that if the music industry wasn't going to let me be the woman of their universe, then I had no choice. I had to leave and go build my own. Okay. Okay, so just reading that statement from her kind of makes me believe that she's saying that she was not able to go as far as she wanted to in the music industry because was kept down because she's a female. And she really couldn't do all she wanted to do because of that. So yeah, I can't wait to read this, y'all. So that is my TBR. I'm very excited to read these books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. I usually read about 4 is usually my all I can manage because I've got a lot going on this month, y'all. Moving. I've got just some personal things going on. And so I hope to read these books. These will be somewhat of self-care too, a time for me to just seclude and just get in my book lounge, book corner, and just indulge in beautiful writing by beautiful Black authors. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and be blessed. Bye.